Packers destroy the Commanders. Let's talk sports. How y'all doing? Guys, it's NFL Week 2. Now, look, guys, I'm in a different location. I don't got my same setup right now at the moment, so we're not playing the intro today. But NFL Week 2 is officially kicked off, and the quality might be a little different because I don't got my mic plugged in. But I wanted to talk about this game before, I hit the bed or something like that. Because I just watched the Green Bay Packers completely fuck up the Washington Commanders. I mean, Lord mighty, guys. Honestly, I was hoping that, the Washington's defense would maybe do something against Jordan Love. No, they easily got some touchdowns in. There was a couple of stalled out drives, but then he gave the ball to the running game. Running game couldn't get going. Jane Daniels couldn't get going, and honestly, I lost faith in the Commanders.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just
speaking into the void?
But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Really quick. Guys, as a Lions fan, as I watched the Green Bay Packers destroy my Lions last Sunday, I did want to see the Commanders beat the Packers, but look, guys, having Jordan Love play like this, having a run game that's unstoppable, having Micah Parsons now added to your already pretty good defense, I hate to overreact in, the beginning weeks of the NFL, but Green Bay Packers, they are probably Super Bowl goddamn contenders. And I hate the fact that I have to say this. And I hope my Lions can man up with the second time we face them and we can take them down. But so far, guys, these Packers are looking fucking crazy. I mean, just Jesus. Washington Sioux. What the fuck was going on today with the Washington side? I understand they couldn't get nothing off with the run game or whatever, but maybe make some easier passes for Jane Daniels. Maybe, I don't know, scheme some different ass plays. Maybe get some better fucking blocking. Because Jane Daniels is running for his goddamn life. It's not even, Micah Parsons is just doing the pass rush in the back. But, Green Bay's defense is already doing more damage, before. And it's just like, what the fuck am I watching at this point, guys? I mean, Lord mighty. But let's get into this recap, guys. Washington lost by 18 to 27. The Green Bay beat them. And Green Bay Packers, they played pretty good today. Right off the bat in the first quarter, the Green Bay Packers did get a touchdown drive. 8 plays, 96 yards. We start off with a 15-yard pass from Jordan Love. 4-yard run. 57-yard pass from Jordan Love. This was a deep right pass, and Kraft catched this, excellent pass. 1-yard run, incomplete pass, but then we get a 14-yard run. Then Jordan Love throws it to the right for a goddamn touchdown. Nothing happens for the first quarter in this, after this action. But second quarter, we pick it back up. 11 plays, 92 yards. Jordan Love, does an incomplete pass. But then the run game gets going for 9 yards. Then we get, a good old, shotgun pass. And then, that doesn't, really get going. And then we get a 3-yard run. And then we get an explosive 37-yard pass, which is just insane. A 3-yard run, a 17-yard pass, a 17-yard pass again, 5-yard run. And then we get a no-huddle touchdown pass. I mean, guys, the Green Bay Packers are playing like, their fucking lunch money's been goddamn stolen. I mean, holy shit. And then Washington Commanders and the Green Bay Packers take a little bit of a field goal tries. And, this is the worst thing about it, too. This field goal try was at the 4th and 5th. You could have went for it, honestly. I mean, look, those 3 points are not going to fucking help you at all. Alright, then we get a field goal from the Packers. Touchdown. Finally, the Commanders get goddamn going, finally. And, we start out with, a 9-yard pass, 3-yard run, 1-yard run, 8-yard sack. Pressure got crazy there. 11-yard pass, 5-yard penalty, the run game was struggling, but then we get an 11-yard pass, and then finally we get a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Goddamn, it took forever. And then Green Bay responds with a touchdown to basically close out this game. We start out with an 11-yard pass from Jordan Love, incomplete passes, 4-yard passes, 8-yard pass, 2-yard run, 16-yard run, 9-yard run, 2-yard run, then Jordan Love passed short right for a touchdown. Commanders do finish off this game with a touchdown drive. It was 15 plays, 67 yards, but it was not enough, and the game was over already. 8-yard pass, 12-yard pass, a lot of incomplete passes from, Jaden Daniels. 11-yard pass, 19-yard pass, 1-yard pass, 7-yard pass, some sacks, and then finally we get a touchdown. We do get a 2-point conversion. Guys, this game today was pretty disappointing by the Commanders. The defense didn't play that well. The run game couldn't get going. And the passing from Jane Daniels today was not that good in my opinion. If we're going to be rating the Commanders today, guys, I'm probably going to give the Commanders like a 4 out of 10. I mean, holy shit. For offense, Jane Daniels needs to go back into the lab if he wants to win some fucking football games. And then, defense-wise, I'm going to have to give a 3 out of 10 for how bad they goddamn played. I mean, holy shit. And Green Bay Packers, in my opinion, whipped their ass today, and that's kind of disappointing. I really hope the Commanders could have pulled it out, guys. But no. Let me know how y'all feeling about this Week 2 matchup. We got, the Commanders get their ass beat by the Green Bay Packers. I am expecting the Green Bay Packers to actually beat almost every team of the NFL's ass, because this is a team that's very hot. They're very on fire today, and they're going to continue to be on fire. They beat the Lions, they beat the Commanders. What team are they going to beat, next? I don't know. I'm disappointed about the Commanders. Hopefully Jane Daniels can get better for next week. And yeah, guys, let me know how y'all feeling about the Thursday night football action. Not the best game in my opinion. A lot of stalled out drives. And it kind of got boring to watch for a little bit of it. But this game was okay, guys. I thought it was going to be more competitive. I wish the Commanders would have kicked it up a notch, but they didn't do a goddamn thing. So that's definitely disappointing. My Pandora people, if you're on Pandora, make sure you follow, turn on notifications, guys. We're covering the NFL for the whole entire year. If you're on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow, turn on notifications, guys. And I'll see you back on Sunday for, some more NFL recaps. But before that, guys, I will be going back to music reviews. When the Friday night music comes, I will be around to check it out. So make sure y'all stay tuned. We get back into do some music reviews like we used to do. But yeah, guys, for now, I'll see y'all later. Bye. Eagles defeat the Chiefs, the Vikings crumble to the Falcons, and the Lions destroy the goddamn Bears. Let's talk sports. How y'all doing, guys? NFL Week 2 is officially closing out pretty soon. We got some Monday night games. We got a doubleheader tomorrow night on Monday. But the Sunday games have finally ended, guys. I just got done watching this damn Falcons versus the Vikings game. And the Vikings were supposed to be home, and I'm thinking, maybe the Vikings will be a lot better, Maybe they won't fuck up for fourth quarters, or they won't fuck up for 3 quarters, and then, finally lock in on the fourth one. Well, guys, today the Vikings, they didn't even get to the fourth quarter. They were already losing by a lot by the fourth quarter. I mean, Jesus Christ. The only thing that could help the Vikings was maybe a prayer to Jesus, but you know how the Vikings are. I don't think they got God on their side, because they got absolutely smacked around by Bijan Robinson. Michael Penix Jr. was throwing that damn ball. And, I mean, it was a pretty close game. There was just a couple of field goals. And then it added up to 20 points. And then by the time the Vikings were at 6. And I'm just sitting here like, wow. I understand J.J. McCarthy is still getting in the know-how of, trying to win these games and stuff like that. I do like his interview. I do like his poised energy, his relaxed energy. But this, stoicism, this, posed attitude, all this stuff has to actually translate in the game. And clearly, everything J.J. McCarthy was doing in this game was not working. And that's how you have to go back to the drawing board. And that's how you have to really work on these QBs. And
tonight, turn down the noise of the day and focus on the rest with AGZ, the nightly drink for winding down and resting up. New from AG1. AGZ supports your body's natural sleep cycle with clinically studied key herbs, adaptogens, and minerals in amounts supported by research. And no melatonin, helping you wake feeling rested. Wind down, rest up with AGZ. Learn more at drinkagz.com.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
I don't think nobody's expecting J.J. McCarthy to be like Jayden Daniels in his rookie year or anything like that. But this is your second year. You were technically, practicing, even if it was through like some simulation shit or just shadowing over, Sam Darnold. You were shadowing over Sam Darnold. I mean, if you gonna shadow the man, at least, start slinging the goddamn rock, because holy shit, it's just like sometimes J.J. McCarthy can throw these crazy-ass balls that I'm like, oh, all right, I didn't see that shit coming, and there's a touchdown. And then other times, he's having trouble, with the play clock. He's having trouble getting to the line. He's having trouble just, overthrowing the ball, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. This is who the Vikings want to trust in. I get he's still new and stuff like that, but, I mean, look, you have weapons. You have an offensive system that can really work for you if you just lock in. And maybe he wasn't used to the home crowd. Maybe when he did the interview, he said, the crowd goes crazy. Maybe he needed the crowd to quiet the fuck down so he can lock in. It's just like, this is supposed to be like a Michael Penix Jr. versus J.J. McCarthy in the national championship all over again. Well, Michael Penix Jr. just completely killed you, brother. Completely left you in the goddamn grave. I mean, Lord mighty. And so this game was honestly pretty fucking boring. The Vikings didn't do a damn thing. It felt like the Bijan Robinson was just running all over the damn Vikings. So let's go over this game, guys, before we go talk about any other goddamn game. First of all, this game is so goddamn slow. The first quarter, there's only 2 field goals, and it's the damn Falcons. The Vikings can't even get a score. Can't even get a field goal going. Second quarter, finally, the Vikings are able to get a field goal. The problem is, though? You get a field goal after a 19-play drive. A 9-minute drive. Guys, are you kidding me? This is some Lions shit. This is like what Lions were doing with the Packers, You waste so much time off the clock that you can't do anything else. It's just like, what are we doing? Why are we doing these long, stalled-out drives and we're just getting a field goal? I mean, at least do that type of shit when you're already winning the game. When you're at 0, what are we doing? And then it's just a field goal damn frenzy. Third quarter, the Falcons get a field goal in. And then fourth quarter, they get another field goal in. And then finally, somebody gets a damn touchdown in this damn football game. 18 plays, 88 yards from the Falcons, 6 minutes long. We start off with a 2-yard run from Bijan Robinson, a 6-yard run, a 10-yard pass from Michael Penix Jr. Got some penalties in there, but then we get the explosive 21-yard pass. Then we get the 4-yard run, a 13-yard run, a 17-yard run. You get some timeouts coming in there. Then we get a 1-yard run, and then a right guard, T. Aguilar gets it in for 5 yards for a touchdown. And that's what ends the damn game. So, where's the damn defense? Why are we not stopping Bijan Robinson? Why are we not stopping the Falcons' run game? Get to the damn line. actually, stop and tackle, wrap this motherfucker up. I mean, what are we fucking doing? This game was just kind of embarrassing to watch for the Vikings. The Vikings today, their performance, the offense is probably just going to get like a 4 out of 10. Defense. What defense? 4 out of 10. Atlanta Falcons, they didn't even play that good either. I mean, look at Michael Penix Jr. trying to figure out this damn offense. I mean, he's still figuring it out. He's still struggling through this damn Vikings crowd. So he even had problems too. But he played a lot better than whatever J.J. McCarthy tried to do. So I'll at least give him like a 5 out of 10. Defense is going to get like a 6. God. Monday Night Football was a disaster for these damn Vikings. But let's move on and talk about... Now let's do some rapid-fire recaps before we get into one of the main things I really want to talk about in this Sunday. Starting off with the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens, 17-41. Guys, I do like how the Cleveland Browns did put up a pretty decent good fight. Quarter one, the Baltimore Ravens were only able to get a field goal. Only a touchdown in the second quarter. Quarter three, we got a touchdown and a field goal. And then quarter four, they did land the hammer. They did kind of fuck up the Cleveland Browns, 21. So, yeah. That's definitely cooked for them, but I do like how the Cleveland Browns, they did try to put up a pretty good fight. And, guys, the Browns are never going to win a football game by a good team. Let's just be real. And we knew the Ravens were going to absolutely kill them. But another game that I'm very surprised about was the Jaguars versus the Bengals. Guys, the Jaguars looked pretty comfortable in the first half. They looked like they were winning this game. They got a touchdown in quarter one. Quarter two, they were able to get a touchdown and a field goal. And it just felt like in the first half, this team was really getting good. And then even Joe Burrow got out for a toe injury, which is, sad to see. Hopefully he gets better. But Joe Burrow has not been playing his best, and this toe injury probably just makes things worse. So, the backup QB came and actually made some plays and was able to get out this game alive. So Bengals do scrape by 27-31. They barely win the game, and that's crazy. You barely won against the Jaguars. Man. A really close game, too, that happened. The Cowboys finally get their damn win. They had to go to war, though, with the Giants. They had to go to war with the Giants with Russell Wilson. This was a pretty close contested game. 37-40. This game even went to OT, and the OT did win by a field goal. Pretty far field goal, too, which is just insane. Guys, every year these kickers just get fucking crazy. And, so quarter one, New York Giants, they start getting a touchdown, but they miss a field goal, which is fucking stupid. Quarter two, they were able to get a touchdown. Quarter three, just 3 points. Quarter four, and then quarter four, the Dallas Cowboys and the Giants go to war. 21 points, and Dallas was able to respond back with 20 points, and they were able to tie it up, and they go to OT, and Dallas was able to win just by a field goal, guys. I am disappointed Dallas had to barely win against the damn Giants, because the Giants are so bad. But hey, Cowboys finally got their first win. Kudos to them. Thank God. The Dallas Cowboys fans, they can remain happy that their team's finally got a win off their belt. And I do like how Dak Prescott's playing this season. I think, he's going to have a pretty good season. Now, a game that it's kind of funny that it's so close is the Miami Dolphins versus the, Patriots. Look, everybody was hyping the Patriots up in the preseason. I don't see it at all. And this game is an example of it. You had to go through a close game with the Miami fucking Dolphins. 12 points in quarter one by the Patriots, 3 points, and then Dolphins respond back with 14. And then quarter three, we get 8 points. They try to do that 2-point conversion type thing. Quarter three, Miami Dolphins just get a touchdown. They do miss the field goal, which maybe they try to go for 2. That's probably why. Quarter four, 10-7. Patriots were able to get, 10 points, and then, Miami was just able to respond with 7. So they barely get out of this game alive with just a field goal. That is insane to me, in my opinion. Another game that, I knew this was going to happen. 49ers did get kind of injured really badly, so, this game wasn't their most strong suit game. But hey, look, guys, they were still able to win, like I said. Trust in the offensive system. 26-21. Saints lose. Thank God the Saints are still losing. I love seeing, the Rattlers still getting fucked. And, hey, shout out to the 49ers for winning that one. So, yeah, look, guys, we got everything, going from the 49ers. They all got injured, but, they were still able to win. A game that I knew that the Bills were going to win this game. 30-10 against the damn New York Jets. Look, there's nothing you can do against Josh Allen if you're, if you're the Jets. The Jets are just a terrible-ass team. There's just no question. Quarter 1, they already had 10 points. Quarter 2, they had another 10 points. They slowed down in quarter 3, but they picked it back up in quarter 4 with 7 points. 30-10. Jets, y'all should have put up a better fight, but, Jets can only do so much. A pretty surprising game, too, was the Seattle Seahawks beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers couldn't get off shit today. He was shitting bricks out there. Holy shit. Them Seattle Seahawks, look, maybe I said they sucked a little too soon. They completely fucked over these Pittsburgh Steelers. That defense couldn't let Aaron Rodgers do a goddamn thing. And they swept his old ass up. Obviously, they couldn't get the run game going. Look at the damn score. 31-17. Damn. Guys, when you start out with a touchdown and you can only respond with 2 field goals, second quarter you respond with a touchdown, third quarter they respond with a touchdown, field goal from the Seahawks, a touchdown, field goal from these damn Steelers, and then they respond with a touchdown on themselves. Hey, look, you fuck with these Seahawks, you don't play your best game, and these Seahawks are going to sweep you up. They're going to swoop you up like some fucking hawks. They're going to eat at your damn limbs. They're going to, eat you up, swallow you up, and throw you on their own damn grave. They don't give a damn. They'll fucking kill any team in their sight. And that's what we saw today from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got completely destroyed. I'd kill myself if I was a Steelers fan and the Seahawks beat me this badly. Another game, too, which I expected this to happen, was, the LA Rams taking on the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward had the lead for a little bit in the first half. Look, hey, Cam Ward, he was able to get the lead. And then Matthew Stafford kind of reminds you why Matthew Stafford is Matthew Stafford. Quarter 3, a touchdown and a field goal. Quarter 4, a touchdown, and they got 3 more goddamn points. It's just science, guys. You go up against Matthew Stafford, and that's just going to happen to you. But hey, Cam Ward, he was able to hold his own for one half. Another game, too, which I expected, the Arizona Cardinals to win this game, and they beat the damn Panthers. They beat them pretty good, 22-27. You might say, hey, this is not a very close game. The damn Panthers are 22. Cardinals, why are they at 22? Guys, you have to let the Panthers score a little bit. You can't let the Panthers, completely dog out at 0. Even though that's what I really want to happen. But I like how these teams love to give the Panthers, a touchdown here. Maybe the defense gets a little tired because they're going against the Panthers. Who fucking cares? And they get a little bit of a touchdown going. You just need that to happen.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for this day.
A little bit. Because let's be real, guys. These Panthers can't do a goddamn thing against any football team in the NFL, which is just absolutely hilarious. 22-27. I wish the Cardinals would have, fucked them over, gave them a 50-piece, but the Cardinals are not capable of a 50-piece. Denver Broncos against the Indianapolis Colts. This is one of my big disappointments, so let's get into it. When I did this prediction, I said the Broncos are going to kick the Colts' ass, and that is not what happened. So, guys, I think y'all need to take this Broncos hype completely down the fucking drain. You're going to tell me the Broncos might go to the Super Bowl this year, but they can't stop the Indianapolis Colts? They can't stop Daniel Jones and his goddamn fucking crew? What are we goddamn doing here? The Broncos have one of the best defenses in the NFL. But I look at this offense. The way this offense can never get off the ball. People saying Bo Nix just needs time, just needs this, needs that. Well, when's this fucking, time? When's all this training camp? When's all this shit actually going to work out in the damn field when you're actually at the damn game? Guys, you can't tell me the Broncos are going to go to the Super Bowl if they're getting their shit plummeted by the Colts. And this is a close game. Why is this a close game? How in the hell? Daniel Jones is not that good. He is just an easy-ass pocket passer. Easily fits in the Colts' little simple-ass offensive scheme. Or that's why, Anthony Richardson has such a problem being in there, because they don't want to actually teach him any of that shit. They don't want to, teach him how to do any of that shit. So they put Daniel Jones to do it. Daniel Jones is an average quarterback that can do this and win some games. So why is this average-ass quarterback dueling the Broncos? If you want to do something this year, maybe you want to go to the Super Bowl once in your damn life, not even the Super Bowl, that's just these stupid-ass media, hype train. We need to focus on maybe even trying to get a playoff game, because I don't even see a playoff game happening with this team. This team the offense looks lazy. The offense doesn't look like they even want to be there. I look at this defense. They're playing hard for all fourth quarters. Where is this effort on the offensive side of the ball? What are we doing? Jesus Christ, 28-29. You should have never let that damn happen. That's crazy. I'd be ashamed. So that's all the really crazy Sunday action that's happening, guys. Let's get into the last two games this Sunday that I want to talk about. Let's start off with, my team and, my favorite team of the NFL. In my opinion, the best team in the NFL. One of the best teams. Just look at the lines today. Lions versus the Bears. I love how, Ben Johnson came in there, he tried to do our, fourth down and conversions, try to do, what we do. And, it just really shows, this is kid, this is the kid, this is the little kid stuff. And then this is the Lions, this is the big boy, big shit right here, 21-52. Guys, they sucked the soul out of these Bears. Ben Johnson probably, saw ghosts, probably saw demons. When he had to, probably shake hands with Dan Campbell, he probably fucking didn't want to. Let's just be damn real. The touchdown drives of the Lions just kept happening. Touchdown in the first quarter. Bears do respond with a touchdown of their own, and then Lions respond with a touchdown again. Touchdown again from the Lions. They even when you think the Lions are maybe going to go for a field goal, I like how Dan Campbell said, nah, we're going to go for it on 4th and goal. We're going to get that touchdown. And they throw it to St. Brown, and he gets that easy touchdown. You know, they do get one field goal, but then it's just another touchdown frenzy. And by the time, the score is way over the Bears' head, and there's absolutely nothing they can do about it. I loved how the Lions played today. You know, it was a little slow starting, but that's how the Lions games go. I really need this slow starting to, you know, tighten up. If this slow start can tighten up, you know, the Lions are going to be unstoppable if they can tighten up that slow start. But other than that, the Lions played great today. 8 out of 10 for the Lions on the offensive side. Defense side of the ball, it's going to get like a 6. I wish the defense would have played a little bit better. But they did their thing. They tried their best. The Bears. Caleb Williams, you know, sometimes he looks good, and it's just sometimes he just doesn't look good. I mean, this guy was overthrowing the balls. Couldn't even get anywhere going. 4 out of 10 for the offense today. And then, you know, that defense side of the ball is going to get a 4 too. Disappointing from the Bears, but hey, the Lions completely stomped them. Let's move into the mainstay, the main game of the week, guys. I wanted to save this one for last because it's, you know, a lot of my talking points today are going to be about this game, guys. Eagles versus the Chiefs. This is the Super Bowl rematch, guys. I was so excited to watch this game, and this game did not disappoint. This was a defensive battle for all 4th quarters. I really like that. You know, the Eagles were struggling trying to get yards. The Chiefs were struggling trying to get... the Chiefs were struggling the whole game, but even the Eagles were struggling, too, to even get points. I mean, this was just a fun, competitive game. And my only problem about this game, guys, is going to be the simple fact that, once again, Patrick Mahomes is doing everything in his power to win these football games. And one of the, you know, concerning things that I heard while I was watching this game, Andy Reid saying, well, if we just have to, we're going to rely on Patrick Mahomes to do these game-winning situations. And, you know, I get that. Patrick Mahomes is one of the best. But also, you can't do that every time. When you're playing up against the Eagles, there's only so much Patrick Mahomes can do. You know, you see Patrick Mahomes just struggle throughout this game, trying to make throws. Receivers not being on point. The only receiver that was on point today was Travis Kelce. But Travis Kelce even had problems too and caused an interception for a missed throw. I mean, even the guy who was making the really insane passes for him, and you know, Patrick Mahomes was able to get one pass and one touchdown like the old days, but it was too late. You know, it was way too late. There was already 2 minutes on the clock. They already took... So yeah, I mean, disappointing start, you know, from the Chiefs. But, you know, it was a pretty fun, competitive game. I just wish the Chiefs would have played a little bit better. Hopefully when they get, you know, Xavier Worthy, they get, you know, all their players back, the Chiefs will be more competitive. But so far, it's once again Patrick Mahomes carrying the team on his back. And you see what happens, guys. Eagles didn't even play that good either. Saquon Barkley couldn't get anything going. Jalen Hurts was struggling throughout this game. Defenses were on today. But there's only so much that defense can do when, you know, your whole offense is just not on the same track as Patrick Mahomes. The only person I feel like who's dialed in the Chiefs is Patrick Mahomes. And that is a huge problem because football is a team sport. Football needs the whole team. You know, this ain't the fucking NBA. You know, you can't just have Stephen Curry and then we're gonna go to the playoffs. You need your whole damn team. Alright? So, yeah. Guys, disappointing start from the Chiefs, but, you know, this is a pretty fun, competitive game. The ending score for this game, guys, was 20-17. Yeah, guys, how do y'all feel about NFL Week 2, the Sunday slot? I think a lot of good games were played today. You know, there was some boring games, but that's how the NFL...
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
I was deep in it, gaming on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Unfolding the screen made it twice as big and so immersive, I kinda lost myself. Might have trolled a little too close to the sun. Someone in the chat told me to touch grass, so I took my Z Fold 7 outside and kept playing. Still won, got a tan, and a nice little reset. Powerful processor, realistic graphics, you stay locked in, streak stays alive. Can your phone do that?
The new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Get yours at Samsung.com.
Go, guys. And if you're on Pandora, my Pandora people, make sure you follow. We're covering the NFL all year throughout the 2026 and above. I'm probably even going to be doing basketball. So you NBA motherfuckers, watch out. I got some NBA opinions for you too. But if you're on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow, turn on notifications, guys. I will see y'all later. You have a good one. Bye. Buccaneers face off against the Texans, and the Chargers destroy the Raiders. Let's talk sports. Guys, how y'all doing? NFL Week 2 is officially wrapping up with Monday Night Football. I just got done watching the final game. It was definitely a late Monday Night Football. This is one of the first Monday night double headers. I'm sure there'll be plenty more. You know, they love doing these double headers. They love keeping you up till, like 1 a.m. So, guys, Week 2 has definitely been, I would say there's been some exciting games. There's been some fun action. But Week 2 did not feel the same as Week 1. A lot of defensive battles, and this was no different today, guys. Buccaneers against the Texans, which I watched earlier. This was Baker Mayfield going up against C.J. Stroud. The score today was 20-19. The Buccaneers were barely able to win. And I say barely able to win, but the Buccaneers had the lead throughout the whole entire game to the fourth quarter. And then C.J. Stroud had a little bit of a breakthrough. And after the breakthrough happened, then, the Buccaneers were able to take back the game. I'll just say this. I do like how the Texans defense played today. I think the defense was really good. The way they got to the line is just absolutely fantastic. And honestly, in my opinion, guys, I really like the aggressiveness. I like how they were trying to sack Baker Mayfield. They were trying to stop the run game. But, I think the Texans have a good pass rush. But they don't have, the best, defense against the run game. Because we did see Berkey, Irving just, run through this defensive line, which is a little disappointing. There was some wrap-ups, and I do like how this game started. We started out with the C.J. Stroud touchdown. 8 plays, 64 yards. It was only a 3-minute drive. A 9-yard pass from C.J. Stroud, a 1-yard run from Chubb, negative 2-yard run. But then C.J. Stroud throws this 27-yard pass, and then C.J. Stroud throws a deep right pass and gets a touchdown there. Buccaneers, though, immediately respond with a touchdown of their own. 12 plays, 75 yards, guys. We start off on the incomplete pass, but then we get the run game going. 4 yards here, 8-yard pass, a 12-yard pass, a 6-yard run, 15-yard pass, a 10-yard run, and then Mayfield passes deep right for a touchdown. And then, this is where the game kind of stalls out. The Texans respond with a field goal, but then, I really like how the Bucs responded with a 19-play, 72-yard touchdown drive. We start off with a 6-yard pass from Baker Mayfield, a 2-yard run, a 3-yard pass, a 5-yard run. Get some penalties going, but then we get a 7-yard pass, a 9-yard run, a 4-yard pass, a 5-yard run, 2-yard run comes in. We do get some penalties that come in. 6-yard run, a 4-yard pass, incomplete. Then we get a run, and then Mayfield throws short right for a touchdown. So, all the action today in the Monday Night Football game definitely stalled out at the end, because at the end, fourth quarter, it just stayed at a field goal from the Texans, and it just turned into a defensive battle throughout the whole entire match. We do get a touchdown from C.J. Stroud. He finally locks in, a 1-yard run. Then we get a touchdown for 25 yards from Chubb, which is nice. 2-point conversion does fail. And then, the Bucs are able to get a touchdown, a final touchdown drive, guys. It was 16 plays. It was 80 yards. This is the closing game drive right here. 12-yard pass. Get some incomplete passes going in, but then we get a 15-yard run, explosive-ass run. 8-yard pass, a 22-yard pass, a 5-yard pass, 11-yard pass, then we get another 5-yard pass, and then, Rick Wright's able to go for 2 yards for a touchdown. So, overall, guys, this game was definitely interesting. I think the Bucs could have played a lot better, but Baker Mayfield was still, slinging that rock, etc. So I will say, Baker Mayfield and, the Bucs offense today, they're going to get a 7 out of 10. I think they played just all right. Texans are going to get a 5. I just feel like the Texans should have played a lot better. Again, we run into that issue where C.J. Stroud is just running for his life. That offensive line can't even break through. I mean, Jesus Christ. Defense, though, from the Texans will get like an 8 out of 10. I think they try to keep this game pretty close. Now, let's talk about the final game, which, turned into a close battle at the start, and then, it kind of went a little haymaker wild. Chargers versus the Raiders. This is a classic matchup. Harbaugh against Pete Carroll. This is like a coach rivalry type game, a classic one. This game was pretty boring, I'll be honest with you. Geno Smith couldn't really get anything going. The only drives they could have really got going was some field goal drives, which is kind of disappointing. It was just a field goal frenzy once again. We start off with the Chargers field goal. We end with a Raiders field goal. Chargers finally respond with a touchdown drive. 11 plays, 60 yards. We start out with a 19-yard pass, a 6-yard run, 12-yard run, get some sacks coming in there, and then we get a 10-yard pass from Herbert. I think Herbert played really good today. Then we get a 20-yard run. Herbert scrambles up the middle, which is awesome. Then we get a touchdown. Herbert throws a short right pass to Allen, and then we get a goddamn touchdown. And the disappointing thing, the Raiders do respond with a field goal, which kind of sucks. And by this time, guys, this game is just over. Touchdown again. And all they need is just a field goal to keep this game going from the Chargers. Guys, Geno Smith today didn't play that good. And I also think the coaching from Pete Carroll today, when you just go for field goals, I think this is too much of the old NFL mentality, the mental side of the old school ways. Because, in my opinion, if you've done field goals for the whole entire game, I think you need to go for touchdowns at this point because you're losing. It's like I got onto the Lions last Sunday for just going for field goals, Don't go for the field goal if you're losing. Go for the touchdown because you're losing either way with this field goal. Yeah, you keep it, not at 0, but 3 points is only 3 points, and if they score a touchdown on you, that 3 points means absolutely nothing. So, just disappointed with the coaching today, but honestly, guys, this was an okay match. Chargers, I thought the Chargers were, not playing their best in the beginning, but they were able to stall out, get the run game going, finally get some touchdowns going. Herbert was doing his thing as Herbert does, and that leads the Chargers to 2-0. And this is a divisional matchup, too, and the Chiefs are 0-2, which is, crazy to think. But, hey, good job on the Chargers. If we're going to rate today, Chargers, they get like a 6 out of 10 for the offense. I think Herbert could have played a lot better today. And then Raiders are going to get like a 3. Raiders are just the Raiders. Defense, too. Come on, guys. You kept this game. I'll give the defense like a 4 out of 10 for keeping them at 20 points. But that's kind of all you did. You just kept them at 20 points. And then the defense side of the Chargers, I will give a 7. They kept the Raiders from not doing a goddamn thing. Only field goals. If you can only keep, the opposing team just doing field goals the whole game, I mean, that's a win right there. That is definitely a win. So, yeah, guys, how do y'all feel about the Monday night slot of the football games, guys? Let me know. My Pandora people, if you're on Pandora, make sure you follow because we're covering the NFL all year, guys. So let me know how y'all feeling about these games. In my opinion, I think these Monday night games were not the best. The first one was pretty fun to watch. And then this second one was definitely just kind of a slogfest, in my opinion. It wasn't really a close, contested matchup. I just felt like these two teams were just kind of struggling in the beginning, and then one team finally pulled out. That's kind of how it felt like with this one. So let me know, guys. And also, if you're on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow, turn on notifications, guys. We're dropping new content every single day, guys. And that's going to be all from me, guys. I think this Monday night, football matchup, I honestly think, the Chargers are going to be a really good team this year. I think they could maybe win the AFC. And I know it's kind of crazy to say they do got to go up against the Chiefs, but I think with how vulnerable the Chiefs are right now and how maybe they can continue to go down this stage of just, staying vulnerable, I really think the Chargers can just, overtake these damn Chiefs. So that's going to be definitely something to keep an eye on. But it's only week 2, and week 2 is officially over, guys. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.